Welcome back to episode 3 of Peas in a Pod. We're still joined by Tashil, and today our discussion is more focused towards giving your case studies of what we're actually talking about. So, we've been discussing gated communities and social housing environments within Johannesburg, right? How do these living environments impact social integration, access to resources, and the overall quality of life for their residents, in your opinion?
Let's go to the question again.
How do these living conditions, how do these living environments impact social integration, access to resources, and the overall quality of life for residents,
So the
both
thing,
in gated communities and public housing environments?
so the thing is that if we have to really think about it, is that gated communities, they have the finances to create sustainable development. So like in a way, like health-wise, crime and safety. Gated communities are more. They have the opportunity on not being affected by crime. They are safe. In terms of health, there's not this informality occurring.
And I'm glad you brought out the topic of crime, because most gated communities, the main reason why people choose to create these gates that lead to their estates or close off these roads is because of the issue of crime. Do you, in your opinion, believe that is the main reason why there is so much boom around gated communities?
I do believe that's one of the issues that many, as time going on, the crime in the city of Johannesburg has increased. There's a lot of breaking-ins. There's a lot of issues of attempts of murder, and crime is gained a lot. So that's mainly the one reason why gated communities have gated and have increased.
So you think if you were to decide to create an enclosed township, let's say, since we were looking at Soweto, if you were to decide to make Soweto a part of it into a gated community through road enclosures, so basically making it into an enclosed neighborhood, do you think the crime would decrease?
Not necessarily. I mean, there are downsides to also saying crime. I mean, there's also crime taking place in gated inclusionary housing. There are crimes taking place there. So us putting a booming off like Soweto areas in Soweto, there's not really gonna say that crime is gonna just go away. I mean, there will be more safe security, maybe, but it's not necessarily going to be the outcome. I mean, we can boom off an area, but it just shows that there's like securities at each areas.
So then,
Access
what is the difference there? If people will be promoting road enclosures, the main reason why they wanted the road enclosures was because they wanted the crime rates to decrease. So if you're saying if we were to do the same thing but in a township, then what is the difference between these two environments that makes it work when it's within a city or mostly within suburbs versus when it's within a township? Because in my opinion, even if we were to still create these road enclosures within a township, it would still be a type of exclusion. It would still exclude certain people, regardless of where it's at.
If we had to like gate off some areas in Soweto, a lot of things would change within that area. For instance, the level of rent, or for instance, housing would increase in price. So in a way, it's like it's also there's going to be a shift, because people who are now in a boomed off area, many of them will need the requirements, or like will have to pay extra money to their bond. So it's so many people. There would be this inclusion, like this, a further marginalization, because many people won't be able to live in those boomed up areas, because how the increase of leverages and housing is increased.
So you're saying, irregardless of where we put them, the negative impacts of gated communities are still going to be there, right?
Yeah.
So then, what can we do to mitigate those impacts? And then at the same time, how or what can we do to mitigate this issue of public housing still being developed outside of urban centers, outside of urban areas? How do we then mitigate or help resolve this problem?
It is an issue, because that is, and it's also a challenge. Like I said, we can create many plans that encourage people to be less divided, but there's also it's convincing others. So we can try and mitigate and strive to show others that we want to implement. We can encourage this unity or less separation. But the thing is that it does create a lot of challenges within that, because mainly private interests, public interests, it's hard to like mediate between the two.
So how can we then promote inclusiveness within gated communities and promote inclusiveness within the public housing that we have already developed within the peripheries of the city?
So like that's creating more like a buffer once again. Like we create centers accommodating to those inclusionary housing. We accommodate for them. So in a way we encourage that. The challenge is that also creating those centers, we also don't want those centers to be privatized to the point where it's the only thing that's there, which could also like trash the economy, because it's only it does increase privatization despite it accommodating inclusionary housing, but it would like improve the quality of life in that area, because there's accessibility to basic needs.
Okay, we've come to the end of our discussion. Thank you for joining us once again.